Hey folks, Steve here with another Cataclysm video. We're going to look to finish up this Pacific War scenario that I started in the other video I did the other day. Still doing Dark Valley, going to do that a little bit later, but I thought I'd just come in here and smash my way through this pretty quick. Part of the reason why I can do it pretty quick is that after I did my video the other day, I was sitting down on the couch with my laptop, hanging out with the family, taking care of everything over there, and I was sort of like slowly playing through a couple of playthroughs of this scenario off camera, and I ended up playing like, I don't know, it must have been 2 or 3 full scenarios of this, and because I wasn't talking or explaining, and I was pretty certain I had the rules down pat, I was burning through the scenarios in maybe in under an hour. Because it was, draw a chit, play it, draw a chit, play it, and I knew what I was trying to do for each side pretty clearly, and I ended up playing, I think what's interesting is that one game I had the Japanese all the way down here in the Philippines, Java, New Guinea. They pushed into Papua. They had taken India and were just about to achieve their automatic victory condition of 18 victory points when the game ended. And so they won, and they nearly won a like extraordinary victory there, and a lot of that had to do with grabbing Java early, pushing for India early. Those renewable resources, renewable meaning, they're I guess it's like every turn resource, not the Jiangsu stuff where you spend it and it's gone. That just drove the Japanese economy so well that we were able to go toe-to-toe a little bit easier with the Allies. We had basically shut down Britain out of the game, and it was really about fending off the Americans, and they just didn't have a lot of capability left. In another game, I had it where the Japanese had done very well. They actually spent a ton of markers, offensive markers, repeatedly attacking Pearl Harbor after the initial attack did okay. Now the challenge with that is that you don't get surprise on future attacks, but I was able to like whittle away the American forces here until like the Japanese had captured Pearl Harbor, and it had cut American forces over here out of supply, meaning they were going to get a -1 to every die roll. The only problem was I had focused so much of my forces on doing that that I sort of lost momentum down here, and the Allies ended up winning because the British actually were able to push out of India a little bit, and I couldn't make headway down here, and I ignored up here, and basically I ended the game with like I think 8 or 9 victory points, which is below that threshold of holding 10 to win at the end of the game. So, really, as I look at that, it's like, well, you got to balance so much, I think, right? Like, I really would love to cut the Americans out of supply and take Pearl Harbor, but if I'm not grabbing at least a few victory points along the way, then I'm not doing the right thing here. And some of the luck in the first turn of this scenario really comes down to, can the United States do a deployment action to get units up here, and if they can, then it's a much harder for the Japanese to function, because if they can grab Java or the Philippines without the Americans being able to intervene, then they've got that much extra space to work with. But as it is now in this scenario, like, the Americans got their guys up here, they got their alliance, they got everything else working for them, and now it's just a matter of getting to getting enough forces here that the Japanese just can't succeed at anything. So that's sort of the situation as it is right now in this game. I'd say, based on the games I played the other night, very quickly, this is probably not a very good situation for the Japanese at the moment. They didn't make any headway in victory points, so they need to get all of their points because the special rules for the scenario are that when we draw two of these Soviet offensive markers on the next turn after this one, the game ends, and that could happen actually pretty quickly, just due to dumb luck, and so you don't get a lot of time in 45 and 46, right, obviously, and if the Japanese aren't getting enough victory points, then they're screwed over, right? They're just not going to win, so it'll be interesting to see how we want to deal with this. Anyway, let me get these things back up, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the free flags at the start of the turn for America and Japan. We're going to do production, so we're going to do production for Japan. Oh, in that one game I actually had the Americans collapse, which was interesting. But with the current proposed rules I'm using from Board Game Geek that aren't totally official yet, they didn't offer an armistice. It was, they just, had some reductions in their force pool. So let's see. We're at total war commitment. We must have all our forces out for total war commitment, right? A bunch of stuff in the cup. Yeah, we got plenty of forces out there. Okay. So we're gonna do production. We're gonna get one free war offensive anyway, due to Tokyo. And then we have 2 resources left. We've got to spend this one now, I think. Not having Java is a big problem. We should have taken that first turn. So now we're going to have 3 resources to spend. It looks like, we've got... I think I just do offensives for all of these, for all 3 resources. And then what we want in the holding box, I think... our stability's not great, but I think we need a offensive. They're done with production. Well, send this stuff to the cup. United Kingdom, they're gonna get their 1 resource. They get 3 builds. I do think they ought to try to build something, but I think I found them being able to go on the offensive is really important, and so we're going to have the UK go, and we're going to put their chit in reserve as their offensive. This will go into the cup, so they're done. And then we have the Americans. Now they're going to get 2 offensives right off the bat. And then with 3 resources, I assume they're going to do 1 whole one for another offensive, so they're maxed out on offensives. And they're going to get 2 more resource expenditures. And I think what we'll do is... like their force pool's kind of built out, it looks like, a lot. We will do, figure 2 resources, that's 6 builds. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we probably won't get to use that fleet, but it won't matter too much. And then for the reserve, yeah, I think we probably want to do... They're going to get so many offensives. Yeah. See, what I might want to do is use a flag and do a I don't know. Okay, we're going to do an offensive as their opening move of their reserve, right? They could hold it back, and now we'll get into the Action Cup. We'll try to play through this pretty quick, 'cause like I said, I can get through this very fast if I'm not explaining things. I didn't update this chart to show everybody's at war, but they are, so whoops, but no big deal there. What do I want to do here? I think the Americans aren't going to go because they're going to, well, there's a couple of issues with some of this. If I take too many forces out of Pearl Harbor, that could have the Japanese try to take it, and then if they succeed, then all the rest of the units are out of supply. Now, I still won that game as the U.S., having the Japanese having done that because I just deprived them of their victory points, but yeah, I think maybe what we'll do. Yeah, this is difficult. What I'm worried about doing here is if I attack. Okay, what we need to do is take New Guinea. So I think what I'm going to have happen is the Americans are going to, because we need an easier way to get units in and out of here. So I want to do an attack on New Guinea as I'm going to use the American operation. We're going to invade New Guinea, and we're going to pass an effectiveness check to be allowed to do it, which we get. Easy peasy. We're going to come into here. We're going to get support from our allied air. It's going to be 3d6. I'm not adding any augmentation, just 3d6. Oh. That's not good. 3d6 is a 3 versus 1d6 plus 1. Whew. Okay, well, that's a tie. I wonder if that means this unit has to die. That wouldn't be good for the Americans. Okay. Well, that is an American army that's eliminated trying to take New Guinea. Well, 3 dice with the air support. I think I'm learning as I've been playing this that like having 3 dice isn't as good as having modifiers. That's what it seems like, because you could roll 3 dice and then get like 3 4s, which isn't very good, and then attacking some adverse terrain place like New Guinea, even if they only get 1 die, they still get a +1. So a 13 point whatever % chance they roll a 6 plus 1 is 7. I mean, it's tough. Okay. Well, we still have 2 more military actions as the U.S., so what we're going to do is we're going to spend one of them as a build to put this army, rebuild this army into the reserve. Boom. See? Nothing stays gone forever. And then for the final move, I think what we need to do... see, we need to send forces out here. I'm going to have this sub... I'm going to do a redeploy. I'm going to have the sub redeploy to the Philippines. And I'm going to have... if I pull units out of here, it just is going to make it more susceptible, but I'm going to have 1 aircraft carrier fleet come to the Bismarck Sea. I'll leave the air here for the moment. See, they're going to have aircraft superiority if they attack. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll leave it like that, and if the Japanese want to attack, they can try. We need to get a unit out here capturing Japanese bases, so that just needs to be what's happening. Okay, so the Americans went. Now we have the Japanese who are going to go. And I do think at this point they're going to try for Java. They're not going to be able to get any air in there. So if they just came in, yeah, gosh, they're not going to have any air. Okay, so what we're going to do a redeploy action first. We're going to get this guy here. So now he's based and he can support. You can support after redeploying, but you can't activate a unit after redeploying in a action marker. And, well, actually, yeah, we'll do that then. Oh, wait, that's overstacking. Never mind. Okay, this is what it'll have to be. So we're going to invade here at the Philippines. We're going to include our plane. Americans are going to include their allied plane. And it's going to be augmented by 1. And it's only 1 sea zone of an amphibious assault, so we don't lose anything there. Oh, wait, an amphibious assault costs 2 actions, so never mind. It's going to have to be redeploy, amphibious assault, and that's it. So it's going to be 2 dice versus 2 dice for the air combat. Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, there goes a Japanese air. And now they're going to have... Really, this is not good. 2d6 versus 3d6 plus 1. 4... 3d6 plus 1 is 7, so 4, okay. Well, I guess I can take a retreat as my loss, and I will retreat back there. That wasn't good. Alright, well, that was a wasted offensive. I think this game's going to go to the Allies at this point, so send to available. The Americans are going to place their... this guys will go back here. They're going to place these units and over to Papua again. They need a logistics chit to come up. I don't remember if I bought one in this game. Okay, so that came up. Now we're going to go to the Cup. British flag. Well, we tried to invade New Guinea, and that didn't go well. Oh, you know what? So before I do this flag, New Guinea should have had a diplomatic opportunity. I need to see if that is possible, so... let's see, when an attack by a power fails to conquer an uncontrolled country, only enemy powers, da-da-da, when a home area of a surrendered power becomes a country, da-da. Okay, so the Japanese should have gotten a free roll here, and they failed, so it doesn't matter. Okay. But now, the British are going to go, hey, why don't we all just be friends? And they're going to try to do diplomacy on New Guinea. And they get it. So, where am I going? Markers. Okay, so now the way is open for the Allies to come into New Guinea and just a more stable path to the Philippines. Japanese offensive. I think what needs to happen here is another stage of the air. And then another amphibious assault. We're going to go for Java this time. And this is going to be 2d6 versus 2d6 for the air, I believe. Oh, well, I guess, okay, so if I'm attacking an uncontrolled country, that allied fighter can't be involved, or the allied air unit can't be involved because I'm not attacking them. So I think this is 3d6 versus 1d6 plus 1. Okay, so I get an 8 because every time you roll a 6, an additional 6 on top of your 6, you add a plus 1. So 6 plus 1 plus 1, that's 8. Look, yeah, see, this is like it's scary. This is an amazing die roll. Okay. So that is 8 to 7. I would have very nearly lost this battle, but I was able to get it. And so what happens is we're going to get our guy here. The base goes away, which means this has to retreat. I think we retreat him to New Guinea. And now we have Java. And I will leave the fighter here, because we're going to need that to pivot to these other areas. Yeesh. Yeesh. Okay. So that took everything for that offensive. We get another Japanese offensive. So do we keep this train a rolling? I think we try. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to do it as an offensive in the Philippines. So we send the plane, we send the guy. The straight and adverse terrain don't stack, so the defender's going to get a +1. But we're going to spend the rest of the activations out of this. We would get 3, being at total war. 3 military actions. We're going to do it as an augmentation. So the Japanese will get a +2 in the combat here. The Allied air will come in, so we'll have 2d6 plus 2 versus 2d6. It's a 6. It's a 6. So 6 to 6. I guess that's a tie, in each of these air units is eliminated. Dang. Okay. So we've got then 2d6 plus 2 versus 2d6 plus 1. So it was 7 to 5, 7 to 5. So the Allies have to have to take a loss, but they retreat. We will get another cube, and the subs are going to have to rebase, and they will. What do they? I guess they can go to. I guess they can go to New Guinea, and they will. Okay, so things have perked up a little bit for the Japanese. Getting multiple markers like that in a row is useful. I think now is when the British will use their marker, and I think what they're going to do is, first they're going to redeploy to Burma, and then I think what they need to try to do is, and they're also going to deploy in the Gulf of Siam. And then they're going to attack with the +1 into here, into China. And they're going to do so with a +1. So 2d6 plus 1 versus 2d6 plus 1. So I got a 7 to 5. So I wonder what happens here. I guess we retreat, and then they come in and take into China, and now this. I don't know if if my only option is to go through here. I'm really not sure. I need to look at the rules on sea areas and coasts. Um, okay, so based on the way I'm reading the rules, I don't think it matters, so I can retreat him to here in this space. So I guess that's what I'll do. But this is now a major problem for Japan. So while they still have line of supply through here through the South China Sea, but this is going to be a problem, and they're gonna have to do something about it. And now they have the capability to do so. Okay, so what do we want to try to do? We've got to be careful. If we send forces down here, we're then going to have to be careful of this unit. And when this unit goes, it's going to start capturing bases down here. We could have these guys go. We probably still want to be doing stuff down here. So what do we want to try to do? We're going to do a redeploy with one of our points and get this plane down to Java. And then with our other point, we're going to do a naval activity. And we're going to send this. We're going to support from here and here. I'm not going to augment at all. And we'll do, it's going to be 3d6 to 1d6, basically. So 6 to 6. It's tied, so they each have to take a loss. So this fleet is destroyed, I believe. I don't think you can retreat to avoid a loss when it's tied, is the problem. So, center of the force pool, we take a hit here, and then these guys will return to base. And now, with our remaining point, jeez. Do we try to attack down here, do you think? 3d6 versus 1d6 plus 1 again? It's not a very good move. It'd be tough. We gotta make up. We gotta do something about Indochina is the problem. If we attack here, it'd be 2d6 versus 2d6 plus 1. Actually, they are going to be, these guys are out of supply. Because you can't trace supply through these restricted terrains if you're not Japanese, basically. Because the Japanese infantry don't need to trace supply at all. Or no, wait, I guess, no, they, well, okay. Yeah, they can't. They went around Siam, they can't trace through Siam. They can't trace through Burma, because it's restricted terrain. They can't trace through Malaya because it's restricted terrain. So, yeah, I think we will try to attack here to here. So it's 2d6 versus 2d6 because the +1 for the adverse terrain is offset by them being not in full supply. So this is just a straight die roll. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay. Alright, so that's eliminated. The Japanese suffer a massive defeat, so the British get a flag. And stability test failed for the Japanese. Not good. That's not good at all. Alright, well, that was a nice try. Oh, and we get another one. The flag we're not going to worry about yet. We are not doing good, so we're going to do a build. And another build, which will go into the cup. And then the third build will just, yeah, be another. We had to do builds. Because we're running out of gas. And these guys can now interrupt. And I think what we'll do, we need to solve our supply problems a little bit. What do we do? Maybe they just try for Siam via diplomacy. Fail. Okay. It's fine. Right, you don't get any for diplomacy. Extra cubes. Okay. Japanese are going to put a unit down like so. And now we go to the cup. Home front. Oh, well, this ain't good. I think we're going to fail this automatically, right? Yeah. Okay. So, collapse. We got to do the collapse procedure. I don't think it's possible for them to surrender, and they're not going to peace out. We follow the process that's out here on Board Game Geek. At least that's what I've chosen to do here. So each enemy power gains a flag, so the U.S. gets a flag. Oh, I forgot to put the American stuff in the holding box, or in the cup. Well, that's why they haven't been doing anything. Oh gosh, guys, that's real bad. Well, I guess the bright side is that it didn't really matter, right? The Japanese have kind of just been hurting themselves. So no flag to get, and the British get their flag back. That's basically what's going to happen now. It's funny. Oh, okay. We're going to set the power to wavering. We return reserve, not there. We're going to remove all our cubes. We don't have any down here. We're going to... Oh, boy, okay. Perform an effectiveness check for each area containing the powers cubes, but none of its land units. Okay, so here... Fail. Here... Succeed, okay. And then... Java. We got it. Okay, so that wasn't as bad as it could have been. We're going to reduce our effectiveness by 1. And we're going to go to collapse, or to exhaustion. And we're going to lose 3 units from our force pool. Now here's the problem. We lose this guy. Use this guy, right? But now we have to take something off the board. I'll lose this plane, I guess. And that's it. Boom. Not good. And now we get our free deployment, and I think what we need to try to have happen here is I'm going to just get these guys in a shape like so. And I'm not worried, you know, at this point, trying to hit Pearl Harbor just isn't going to be useful anymore. If they try to attack here, they're not going to get anywhere because they can't get... at least I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't get a amphibious invasion into Hokkaido, so that's what we're going to have to do. And Yeah, okay. It's not as bad as you would think, but that was pretty rough. I think the British are going to try diplomacy again in Siam, and they get it. Okay. It's just going to make it, harder, I guess, for the Japanese to come in. Um, and right now, the Japanese are in trouble. American flag, I think they will attempt maneuvers, and they fail. Ugh. The idea of maneuvers is just get a redeploy. That's not good. American home front, I'm sure they're going to be fine. Okay, so they fail that, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to get their free deployment anyway. So what are we going to do? We're going to pop this guy into here. We're going to put these guys into here. And these guys into here. At this point, there's just nothing to worry about here now. We're playing down in the South Pacific. Okay. Crisis 2d6 4-2 is political crisis. Doesn't matter. We're going to get this deployed to here. American offensive. So what we're going to have happen, I think, is they're going to look to take back the Philippines. Well, I need to think about this for a second. Let's do a naval operation here first, and we're just going to play it straight up, and it'll be 3d6 versus 3d6. Or 3d6 versus 2d6. 3d6, okay, 6, 4. They will have to retreat, and they will retreat over to the Marshall Islands, but the Americans get the base in Truk. And then we'll have these guys stay here for the moment. We'll do a second offensive, and we'll do here, and we'll do a +1 augmentation. So 2d6 plus 2, okay, a 5 to 4. Okay, so they're going to have to retreat, I think. And then it's 3d6 versus 2d6. Uh-oh. Ooh, so they are each going to have to take a hit. Well, I guess they get a +1, so actually have him... He's going to retreat to the Philippines. And now the Americans have the Western Carolina Islands. So, yeah, okay, that's done. The reason why we're doing all this is we're building up a path that we can start hitting Tokyo with whatever we want. Basically. American offensive, again. I think what we'll do is... we're just going to clear the Marshall Islands with a +1. Ooh! I only got a 2 to 3. So, I guess you retreat. And we only have one more offensive left. I think what we'll do is we will attempt to take back the Philippines, and we'll take it with this. So, yeah, so well, yeah, I don't really like that. think we have a better chance of taking Java, and I don't think they can. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. We'll put it in. We'll do it this way, and we'll put in a lot of support. They'll have a lot of support, and it'll just be an even up battle, I think, unless I can get this guy in too. Like, I don't know how many units can support. Is it the stacking limit? I can't remember now. Or can we ignore stacking until the combat's over? Occupation limits apply. Okay, so this would be the battle if we did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, maybe we just don't. Maybe we just don't. We do a build instead. Because at this point, they're screwed up real bad. Maybe we do some sort of deployment action, but I don't see anything that's immediately obvious. Maybe what we do is, if we only have one more action, let's do East China Sea. And it's going to be this. So air battle. 5, 6. Okay, we'll retreat the American air. Or we stay and we ensure that we take the base, or likely take the base. I think they can take it. So we flip, and then we'll have 2d6 to 1d6, I think. 3 to 2. So we'll have the fleet retreat to Tokyo. This will retreat back, and we do end up taking the Okinawa base. Okay. Next up, Civil War resolution. Actually, it looks like the Chinese Communists can attempt, and I think they get it. So there you go. There you go. Or I guess it would have been the, sorry, I believe it's the GMD that would get to go first on that, and so they would expand. Not good for the Japanese. Crisis marker 4-1. Okay, not effective right now. Home front, I'm sure they will automatically have to fail, yes. So no big deal there. Redeploy, I think maybe we pull back, or maybe we move to Malaya. Yeah, that'll work. It's gonna, the Japanese would have to come down here anyway, and we can kind of shift and pivot around down there. Okay, we get to upgrade a fleet, and all of our fleets are upgraded, so this has to go back to, well, I guess I can put it in reserve, and if we take a hit later, we'll use it. Crisis marker 4-1, so we just rolled for the other crisis. We're now in sudden death, I think. Japanese offensive, okay. Well, I think we need to do something about the threat to Japan, but if we are able to here's what I'll do. I am going to fly extended range. Well, okay. We're going to come here. We're going to come here. And we'll fight it out with normal. So 2d6, 5, 6. We'll take the hit. And then 2d6 to 2d6, basically. 6 to 2. Okay, alright. So, this actually eliminates that. The Americans suffer a disaster, which they fail the roll for, and the Americans collapse. And so we get a couple of things. First, we get a flag for the triumph. We get a flag. We're going to get a flag for the collapse, which I will put into the cup right now. That's funny. This guy's going to have to rebase. I think he can rebase here. This goes away. I think we'll leave these units here for the moment. And now we need to do the collapse procedure for the US, which again won't really be that bad. So we get a flag. We are going to reset this to wavering. Reserve. Okay. This goes to force pool. This goes away. Let's see. They don't really have any cubes on the board, so it's not really a big deal. Reduce the effectiveness by 1. The British need to make a stability test, which they succeed on. And now the US is going to go to exhaustion. And they're going to need to remove the power. Force pull numbers are different in this scenario for the US. They're going to lose 3 units, or 3 things. And I think we just get rid of these 3 things right now. And that's as best as we can work with. And yeah, okay. Well, that was interesting. So that was just one action, right? We have other actions we can take. I think what we'll do is oh gosh. We'll do a +2 combat here. So it's going to be 2d6 plus 2 versus 2d6. So 7 to 5. So the heir has to retreat or die. It'll retreat here. And then we have 3d6 plus 2. So 6 to 1d6 plus 1. This unit is eliminated. This will have to rebase. Let's rebase to the Bismarck C, I guess. And then this is done up. And that's it for this offensive. Okay, right now we're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get 2 victory points in this scenario for resource places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we need to capture 1 more place before the end of the scenario to survive and win. Tank upgrade. That's good for the Americans at this point. I guess now would be we do maneuvers maybe. So unfortunately we're only going to get 1d6 and we fail it. So we're going to put a cube in maneuvers. American flag. They can't do a build. No, they can do a build. What do they try to do? Their navy's beat up real bad. That's the problem. I think we try a maneuver and we fail it. Great. That reduced effectiveness is going to be a big deal. And that reduction will only be for this turn. Draw the next chit. Okay, that would be the 4th crisis marker. We still have more stuff in the cup, so it's going to go back in the cup. American fleet, we will put Oof. We're dangerously close to being cut out of supply. We'll put it in there for the moment. Then a air upgrade, which we will do here. Then Japanese flag. Yeah, I think we try maneuvers. So 1d6 plus 1 is 5 is a success. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna send this guy down here to try to take this base. So it's gonna be 2d6 to 1d6 basically. 4 to 3. So he's got to retreats to Fiji, and we have maybe put. I think we need to take Fiji before everybody's cut out of supply, but we're definitely causing some problems. And then nope, it's going to go back into the cup. American offensive. So. What do we do? Right now, we can deal with the shenanigans down here. I think we need to work to deprive the Japanese of victory points. So we're going to go and we're going to do a +2 offensive, like so. Now, the only thing about the tanks is that I don't think they count in adverse terrain. But it can absorb a hit, and that's why we have the tank army attacking here. So we're going to have 2d6 plus 2 versus 2d6. 7 to 5 will retreat to the Philippines. Now it will now be 3d6 plus 2 to 1d6 plus 1. Or I'm sorry, 2d6 plus 1. So 3d6 plus 2, 8, 2d6 plus 1, 4. 8 to 4, that's 2 losses. This unit has to be removed. And the Japanese suffer a catastrophic defeat. So the US is going to get a flag. We'll throw in reserve. Got to roll a stability check, which we fail. And we're going to get the American cube in here. So that offensive is done, and then we pull, and that's the end, because there are 2... Nope, it's not the end. Okay. There has to be 2, like, less than 3 for the game to keep, or for the turn to end, so this is going to be like Japan's last action, probably. So, they're going to try to do a maneuver. They get it, and what they're going to do is they're going to put this into the action cup. And then we'll see what we draw, and that is that the end? No, it's not the end. Okay. Japanese fleet, we will build and deploy into the Marshall Islands. And that's it, and now that should be the end. Yes, that is the end. Okay. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 victory points. The Japanese need to get at least 2 more before the end of the game. And right now, it's looking like they're going to have a really hard time doing it. So, I'm going to take a break here, and then I'll do another cut when I get a chance, and we'll look to do a quick run through of the final turn, because the final turn is going to go pretty quick. And just as I'm doing that, I'm going to just get the rest of this stuff processed out. So that's the stuff that comes off the board for the next turn. Into the cup, 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 boom. Production holding box. This is going to go into the available builds, and then the Soviet markers will go into the cup. And we will look at turn 45 and 46 when we get back. Again, right, I guess what I'll do just very quickly is Americans are going to get a flag, Japanese are going to get a flag, and then we'll look at production. And I guess the only saving grace here for the Japanese is that they've held on to an unoccupied Java for the moment, and they do have a line of communication back to Tokyo, so they're going to get the resource. But at the moment, they're just going to be outproduced by the U.S. Maybe the only other thing being, Japan's at exhaustion. And come to think of it, I maybe used a Japanese offensive and gave them an extra bonus when I shouldn't have, but too late. But Japan's exhausted, America is exhausted, Britain is seemingly fine, but they don't have much role to play in the scenario anymore, though this unit in Malaya could potentially help take Java. It has protected Southeast Asia pretty well, so there you go. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. For you, it'll be a split second, and we'll look at doing production and finishing the final turn, which should go pretty quickly. Okay, so we're back looking to complete the final turn of the scenario. I actually did production off camera, and some of that is because I had a previous recording and I had started playing, and I had forgotten to put some factions chits in the cup. I also screwed up some stuff with Indochina, and just to make sure I don't forget, Indochina is controlled by the Allies. I'm just marking it with a cube because Allied VP in this scenario don't matter at all, so I'll just do that as a mnemonic. But, so a couple of things to point out. So we've got Japan at unstable. If they collapse, and they collapse at exhaustion, they will peace out with the armistice. And that is, again, the, to-be errata game change stuff that's out there on the Board Game Geek forum under the proposal changes that are being discussed. So that would be not good for the Japanese, obviously, so they're dangerously close to being in a collapse state. I decided to put an offensive here because we need to get units down here ASAP. It might be too late, that the British are going to go. But what we want to try to do is get some units around and maybe attack somewhere. But then we're just waiting for our flag to come up to try to increase our stability. So, we could be in trouble here. And if we get any disasters out here, then we're going to be even more so in some trouble. Maybe our only saving grace as the Japanese is that the Americans are down to 2 for effectiveness at exhaustion, which means they come after the Japanese in terms of interruption. So, yeah, that's the way it's going to go here. Again, the current situation, the Japanese need to pick up a few more victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They need to get 2 more. I think at least, and then, even then, we've got to deal with a whole bunch of American onslaught. The only thing being, the Americans are kind of low on their own force pool, though they do have some upgrades that can be used to absorb hits, so we'll have to see how that goes. Japan is pretty much all cleared out. Whatever they got is what they got. We got to make the best of the situation. And for the Commonwealth, they've got an offensive, and they're going to use it to start us off. So they're going to do a +2 augmentated attack into Java. The Americans are going to send their planes here. I think we will have the Japanese put their air in just in case we roll well, and we'll see the attack. So 2d6 +2 for the air combat. It's 8. 2d6 for the Japanese is a 5. So we will retreat the plane out.
And then it's 3d6 plus 2 for the land combat. So 6 to 1d6 plus 1. Ooh, that's a 7. Okay. Well, that means that this army is going to retreat back to Malaya, and these guys are going to go back home. So we managed to avoid losing Java as the Japanese, so we're going to send that to available. The Japanese will go. They'll first do a deployment action, and so we'll bring a guy here. We'll bring a guy here. I think what we'll do is we'll move this guy down here. Well, I guess he can cover either which way, so we've got good air coverage for the moment. So I will move him here, and then what we'll do is I will have this army attack into China with a +1. Also, just as I'm dealing with it, I'm going to put the fleet over here in Java. Yeah, okay. I could possibly... whoops, that shouldn't be American. That needs to be Japanese. I do kind of want to do it with a +1 and take victory points, or I beat up on the American fleet. Yeah, we need to take victory points. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to support with the adjacent plane that can support even though it deployed. And the allies can't get anything anywhere, so it's going to be 3d6 plus 1 to 1d6 plus 1. So a 7. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so we are into Indochina, and we'll just keep the units here. And we'll see what the Americans do. The Americans, I think they're going to try for Java. So they're gonna spend this action as a +2. We're gonna get air support. It's gonna be real bad for the Americans, I think, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so 2d6 plus 2 air. 7, 3, so that air unit is gone. And then, so it's going to be 3d6 plus 2. The tanks don't add anything because of the adverse terrain, but they can take a step loss. That's really the important thing here in case of a tie. So 3d6 plus 2 is only a 5. We get 2d6 plus 1 is a 6. Haha. Okay, well, I think... See, I guess they need to take a step loss and they can retreat. Yeah. Whoops. What's this guy doing here? He shouldn't be here. There we go. Okay. Oh, I know why that was there, because it counts for 2. Okay, well, nice try, Americans. That was their offensive. So now we're going to go back to the Cup, and we could see a whole bunch of crazy stuff happen here now. Could be anybody's game. We're at 1, 2, 3. Did I lose something with Jiangsu? That should be controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we only need to capture a couple more territories. Crisis marker. 6, 5 is Soviet Union partisans. I mean, the Soviet Union's not in the game, so I don't know if they can choose this. So I'm going to treat that as a no event. And we get, okay, we get a Japanese offensive. I think we go for Siam as a unassisted attack. So that would be 3d6 versus 1d6 plus 1. So 5. Okay, we got it. So Siam is taken. Now for our second action, I think we still get. Oh no, we only get 2 actions. So, if we attack them in Malaya, they've got nowhere to go and they'll be destroyed. So, I think we go to Malaya. So it's gonna be 3d6 plus nothing versus 2d6 plus 1. Ooh, that's not very good. I don't think I can get anywhere else. Actually, I know what I'll do. I'll leave these guys here for the moment. We're going to do a base capture operation with this fleet. Boom, boom. Now that British unit is out of supply. So there you go. Next chit out of the cup is British home front. British still have 3 dice, I think, and they fail it. So that goes down. Now the question is, are they trapped right here? Can they get back to India? They'd still be out of supply. They'd probably want to protect India from being taken, right? So the question is, can they get out of here? I think they can. I think they can. I'm reasonably confident that they can. So I'll say they can pull out across the Bay of Bengal. I could try to find the rules reference for that, but trying to find it. Military actions, deployment 26, page 26 of the rule book. Okay, yeah, they could get back to India, so that's what they'll do. Now there's a sort of a cost here. If I get away from Malaya, that leaves Malaya open. But if these guys make it to India, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 more victory points. There's only going to be 1 more victory point, and the U.S. should still be able to bang through Java and Philippines, hopefully. So that's the idea there. Japanese home front. Okay, this is where the game's going to end. They succeeded. No, they didn't because the -2. So they collapse. So I'm going to follow the procedure here for the collapse, and it might really matter. So each enemy power gains a flag. America doesn't have any. Britain has 1. Set the stability to wavering. Return a reserve, yep. Nothing in the political actions. Action boxes. So we need to perform an effectiveness check for each area containing the power's cubes, but none of its units. That's rough. So Indochina. We lose Indochina. Guangdong. We lose Guangdong. We keep Jiangsu. We lose Hebei. This is what I get for ungarrisoning China. And we lose Manchuria. So that's not good. We're going to reduce our effectiveness by 1. They didn't have any allies. If the powers commitment is exhaustion, it breaks its alliances. It must offer an armistice to all enemy powers. Each enemy power at increasing effectiveness decides to accept the armistice or not. So what would happen if we accepted the armistice? Well, we wouldn't be at war anymore. So what kind of change would that have on the game? I almost want to say the allies don't want to take it. So if we're not okay, if we go to peace, very likely I think this stays the same. We keep control of our bases. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. So if we were at peace with the Allies, we could still reclaim Guangdong, we could still reclaim Hebei. We wouldn't have to worry about being attacked anywhere else. We could get out of Siam and potentially take a couple more places. Unfortunately, we're at 1, 2, 3 4 victory points. I mean, I think we're done, right? Like, I don't think there's anything more we can do. So I think the Allies are not going to sign armistice, and they'll just make sure that Japan can't take anything else, right? We're gonna do a free deployment, and we'll deploy this ship back to Java, and that's it. Crisis 2-1. Civil War doesn't matter, okay. Japanese offensive. Okay, so what does Japan do now, right? They didn't accept the armistice, so we get to keep fighting. We can try to take Indochina back. Well, and we need to take Guangdong back, really. But let's just keep pushing towards Burma. Why not? Yeah, 2d6. I guess that's not 2d6, but okay. So 6 against 1d6 plus 1. Yeah, we got that. So we pick up 1 more victory point, and then they're gonna do a +1 attack into India, and they're gonna have just a 2d6 because they're out of supply with the adverse terrain. So 3d6 plus 1. So that's an 8 to 6. So they can't retreat anywhere. And so this unit is eliminated. And we do manage to take India. And we'll regroup to, well, I guess we'll just stay here for the moment. Or maybe we'll go back to Burma. And apparently I screwed up taking stuff out of Siam. There we go. So really it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're still too low. But we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. We got a Japanese army that we will put in. Whoops! Whoa. Japanese army that we will put in Korea, because we want to get we need Manchuria back. U.S. fleet will go to Samoa. Okay, we got the A-bomb, so we're going to send to... we'll put it here. And now we can drop an A-bomb. How do we do that? That would be wonderful to do here, I'm sure. While the A-bomb, the United States may perform atomic strategic bombing operation as a military action. At the start of the operation, return the A-bomb marker to available. During the operation, each loss suffered by the defender also forces them to conduct a stability test. And adds 1 to the surrender threshold if the power collapses. Okay. Oh, yeah, I guess I should have... I don't think Japan was going to surrender. Yeah, I don't think it was going to surrender, but... yeah, anyway. Continuing on. We're going to do maneuvers as the UK, and we fail. Well, okay. The idea there was we could do some builds, though I don't think they can get anywhere. Okay. American Army. American Army will go to... Papua. And American Home Front. So I'm pretty certain they're going to fail this. -2 is 4, so yeah, they do fail, but they get a cube. No, they don't get a cube, because it's not propaganda. They just fail, they just go down 1. Yeah. And do they want to do any sort of rebase? They'll rebase this here, and they'll rebase this unit over here. Okay. Japanese flag. Well, it would have been great to do some goodness. We're going to try for maneuvers. We fail. No point in trying to do a stability propaganda. American offensive. Okay, so... having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need to hit Java. So they're going to do a +2 attack on Java. Air is going to come in. So it'll be 2d6 plus 2, 8 to 6. So, okay, they force a retreat. Then it's 3d6 plus 2, 7 to 3. Oh, yeah, okay. Eliminated. This goes away. It's got just a rebase, and then that is a awesome success, a triumph. Japan's got to make a stability roll, which they succeed, and then yeah, we're just running out of time here. Civil War, yes. Let's see, they'll try here in Guangdong. I think they get it. Basically what's happening is the Civil War is not active because there's still enemy control in China, and so now they are just spreading, and they do a performance roll, and they manage to succeed. I don't think the resistance applies for this. I might be getting that wrong, but we're at the end of the game. It doesn't matter. Japanese offensive. Okay, so I think what we try to do is, I think we got to do a +2 in the Java again. So +2 2d6 plus 2. Oh, only a 3. 2d6 is a 4, so we don't have air superiority. They do. So we have a 2d6 plus 2. So 7. And they get 3d6 plus 1. So a 6. So we do force a retreat. And we take back Java. Oh boy. Things are looking dicey. Huh. Alright, send to available. Crisis. How many crises is that? It's our third one. 5-4. Soviet Union thing, doesn't matter. We will toss in some air here, sure. Okay, so this gives America a flag. They don't have one to get. British get a flag. British are going to try to do stuff. They succeed with the maneuver. And they will put some builds in. So, actually, you know what? I think what that would have... dang it. Okay, yeah. All right. They got nowhere to go is the problem. So it's like I'm going to put units in the action cup, but they can't go anywhere with the build. And the game ends. Like it matters. Okay. So the second Russian offensive means that the game is over, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 victory points is less than 10. The Allies won this one. And boy, that collapse really, I think, is what determined the game, because I could see the potential for some units to be reorganized and then used to maybe even push against New Guinea. Or, you know, if we were really feeling like we could just lay back with it, attack into China more and take action in territory in China. Really, you could almost look at it and be like, well, why don't you just take everything in China? Well, it's because that if you're not fighting down here, the Allies will just steamroll their way up. And they'll go from the Philippines, they'll take the East China Sea base here, and then they'll use that as the bridge to Tokyo and take your capital and screw you up real bad. So, I don't know. Okay, well, that was kind of interesting. We got through it. My attempts to get through the last turn took longer than I expected. I probably could have used units a little bit better. Maybe what I should have done was really try to contest and cut the Americans out of supply, but I just didn't quite have the force composition to do it. But yeah, you know, like I said earlier, I played through this scenario a couple of different times. Times where the Japanese have won by a lot, times where the Japanese did well, but the American forces, the Allies, just were able to do better and deprive them of victory points. But it is an interesting little scenario. It plays fast, especially once you get the rules down. Like, playing this solo and playing this quickly, like, it just is a great time kill. I really think this game, like, if it had a digital version that you could play on your phone, like, it would be amazing. It would be awesome. It's the perfect game for it. Just playing solo against AI, or you could play it like 2-player regular solitaire where you control each action. It would just be a lot of fun to do it on a phone. I think it's just perfect for that. I don't know why I'm fixated on that, but I think it is perfect for that. Okay, well, if you were watching this, hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to get back to the Dark Valley here. Hope you enjoyed it. Cataclysm's an interesting game. It may not be for everybody, but I've definitely had some fun with it. You know, worth checking out, I guess. If you want to read more about the game, check out the Board Game Geek page, GMT Games page for it. There's a lot of active discussion on the Board Game Geek forum about some potential rules updates, so keep an eye out. Overall, the system works. It's just folks are kind of fine-tuning some things after the game's been out a while, and Sharks have really had time to bang on it. Like a lot of famous games, like For the People, has gone over rules revisions over the years because experts have hammered on it. So it's just a good thing. So okay, I will catch you guys later. Have fun. See ya.